here, and I'll be back on Friday night as well. One of my favorite guests to have on is the newly married, still glowing from her nuptials, Alex Wilkes, the executive director of America Rising PAC. Alex, how are you doing this evening?
I am great. Thank you for the warm introduction.
Always. Listen, I know we're going to talk about the midterms, but I have to ask you to give your thoughts on this story. Hillary Clinton didn't get the memo that the Kamala Harris video about Brett Kavanaugh was incorrect. I mean, are you buying that she just missed it, or do you think this was an affirmative act on her part to mislead her sycophantic public?
Hillary Clinton is a couple news cycles behind, that's for sure. I mean, it certainly might have been willful on her part. We know that she really has no compunction about lying to the American people. But that being said, I mean, this was just egregious. This is something that the Washington Post gave 4 Pinocchios to. PolitiFact also rated it as false. This is, of course, the claim that Senator Kamala Harris made in deceptively editing some video from Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing, that he referred to birth control as abortion-causing drug, which he did not do. In fact, He was summarizing somebody else's position. So,
in fact, time out for a second, because this is the point that I was going to make, Alex, and my guest is Alex Wilkes from America Rising PAC, is that you could have selectively edited my video or my audio just a moment ago and your audio just a moment ago to make it seem like you were saying that, which is not what you're saying.
Oh, this was a simple clip of 2 words, which was "they said." That's what he said. He said,
yes.
"They said," and then quote. And what she did is she cut it down to say that he said it. And, the explanations she's been offering are just so thin in response. She's been doing this all through her spokeswoman, and she says, well, of course, everyone edits videos on the internet.
Wow.
That was the best they could do in response to this. So I think
wait, because of course, Alex, the shruggy meme, the shrugging person emoticon just wouldn't have worked, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
This is really just Kamala Harris has had, I think, a mixed week, you could say, in response to these confirmation hearings, as does her friend Cory Booker. These were 2 people who both tried to make these viral moments happen. They tried so hard, whether it was Kamala Harris, basically deceptively editing this video to create words that the judge did not say, or it's Cory Booker, I am Spartacus, releasing documents that have already been cleared to be released. You have 2 people who are working overtime to get that viral clip that the whole left would celebrate, share, and would give them a huge platform from which to announce trips to Iowa, South Carolina, that sort of thing. And I think that both of these individuals showed these efforts to be pretty unremarkable, in my opinion.
Sure.
If this is the best they've got, I'm not really that impressed.
Well, then let's get down to the reason why I really wanted to have you on, which was to talk about the midterms. How was this all playing? Because I had a conversation with my colleague at Institute for Liberty and here at WBAL, Jerry Rogers. Jerry is deeply concerned about the midterms. I am less so, but I am a little concerned. How was this all playing into the midterms? What do you see going on? A lot of hay being made about Republicans stepping up their game in Texas and Mississippi. What are your thoughts here?
So I think with respect to the confirmation hearings, I think that the left really discredited itself last week in showing the kind of antics that they were willing to engage in to stop this nomination. They realize that they don't have any cards left to play, so they're playing the crazy cards. And so they...
Sure.
But I think in doing so, they showed themselves to be these extreme theatrical characters, and I can't imagine that that's playing all that well with independent voters, particularly when it's juxtaposed with, Judge Kavanaugh calmly and with such intellectual vigor answering questions and talking about the law and the Constitution. When you have Cory Booker, half in tears, waving his arms in the air, it doesn't play well for the senators who are asking the questions, but it also reflects poorly on their colleagues who are running in red states. So the states the president won in 2016. So someone like Claire McCaskill, I think, is going to have an awfully hard time explaining to her constituents back home the behavior of Cory Booker during these confirmation hearings. So that's what I would say generally about the confirmation hearings and their bearing on the midterms. I think that the Democrats really did lose this hand with their behavior and their outrageousness over the last couple of days.
Sure.
With respect to the midterms generally, I mean, look, this is always going to be a defense year for the Republican Party. It's just generally true that the party in power has a lot of work to do in that midterm cycle because, as Republicans remember from the Obama years, we had a lot of success in those midterm cycles because we were excited. We were animated against President Obama. And Democrats certainly have enthusiasm on their side. I do think, going back to the Supreme Court, though, the Supreme Court tends to be an animating issue for conservatives and for Republicans, so that's first. And second, I do believe that, the economy and the strong numbers that keep coming from, whether it's jobs or wages or GDP growth, Americans are seeing a lot of reasons to be happy and not, sort of a knee-jerk desire to change the course there. So I do think that, those are two things that could help the Republicans sort of defy history in that way.
Well, there you go. Well, listen, Alex, how do folks find out more about the good work that the America Rising PAC is doing?
So they can go to our website, americarisingpac.org, where we keep track of all the things Democrats are saying, so you don't have to.
Well, I appreciate that, Alex, and we'll put the link back up on the Andrew Langer Show page on Facebook. Alex Wilkes, congratulations once again. We look